Chapter 2. In the Company of Devotees. March 11, 1882. About 8 o'clock in the morning, Sri Ramakrishna went as planned to Balram Bose's house in Calcutta. It was the day of the Dol Yatra. Ram, Manomohan, Rakhal, Nitya Gopal and other devotees were with him. Footnote: Rakhal, a beloved disciple of the Master, later known as Swami Brahmananda. Footnote ends. M too came as bidden by the Master. The devotees and the Master sang and danced in a state of divine fervor. Several of them were in an ecstatic mood. Nitya Gopal's chest glowed with the upsurge of emotion, and Rakhal lay on the floor in ecstasy, completely unconscious of the world. The Master put his hand on Rakhal's chest and said, "Peace. Be quiet." This was Rakhal's first experience of ecstasy. He lived with his father in Calcutta and now and then visited the Master at Dakshineshwar. About this time, he had studied a short while in Vidyasagar's school at Shampukur. When the music was over, the devotees sat down for their meal. Balram stood there humbly, like a servant. Nobody would have taken him for the master of the house. M was still a stranger to the devotees, having met only Narendra at Dakshineshwar. A few days later, M visited the Master at Dakshineshwar. It was between 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The Master and he were sitting on the steps of the Shiva temples. Looking at the temple of Radhakant across the courtyard, the Master went into an ecstatic mood. Since his nephew Hriday's dismissal from the temple, Sri Ramakrishna had been living without an attendant. On account of his frequent spiritual moods, he could hardly take care of himself. The lack of an attendant caused him great inconvenience. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to Kali, the Divine Mother of the universe. He said, "Mother, everyone says, my watch alone is right. The Christians, the Brahmos, the Hindus, the Musalmans all say, my religion alone is true. But Mother, the fact is that nobody's watch is right. Who can truly understand thee? But if a man prays to thee with a yearning heart, he can reach thee through thy grace by any path. Mother, show me sometime how the Christians pray to thee in their churches." "But Mother, what will people say if I go in? Suppose they make a fuss?" Suppose they don't allow me to enter the Kali temple again. Well then, show me the Christian worship from the door of the church. Another day, the master was seated on the small couch in his room, with his usual beaming countenance. M arrived with Kali Krishna, who did not know where his friend M was taking him. He had only been told, "If you want to see a grog shop, then come with me. You will see a huge jar of wine there." M related this to Sri Ramakrishna, who laughed about it. The master said, "The bliss of worship and communion with God is the true wine, the wine of ecstatic love. The goal of human life is to love God. Bhakti is the one essential thing. To know God through jnana and reasoning is extremely difficult." Then the master sang, "Who is there that can understand what Mother Kali is? Even the 6 darshanas are powerless to reveal her." The master said again, "The one goal of life is to cultivate love for God, the love that the milkmaids and milkmen and the cowherd boys of Vrindavan felt for Krishna. When Krishna went away to Mathura, the cowherds roamed about weeping bitterly because of their separation from him." Saying this, the master sang, with his eyes turned upward, "Just now I saw a youthful cowherd with a young calf in his arms. There he stood, by one hand holding the branch of a young tree. 'Where are you, Brother Kanai?' he cried. But Kanai scarcely could he utter. Ka was as much as he could say. He cried, 'Where are you, brother?' And his eyes were filled with tears. When M heard this song of the Master's, laden with love, his eyes were moist with tears.